So earlier today, I had some clown comment complaining about me doing Hovind videos, whining about this, that, the other, me referencing how much of a boomer he is, complaining about, that's why your channel isn't growing, even though he has no understanding of my statistics or what's actually going on. All he can see is a random number. And just being a whiny little prick from an account I've never, seen before, who's only left that one comment, and I have no clue if they are or not subscribed to me. So I don't know if it's just an elaborate Hovind troll or what, or Hovindite troll or what. But you know, people try to tell me how to run my channel, and they complain about something I do. Y'all know the next thing I do is immediately go on and do that thing. Plus, I was planning on streaming today anyway, because I know tomorrow I am not going to likely be in the mood or have the energy to stream. I've got to unload a whole damn truck by myself, or at least try to. Fun times. Anyway, I'm so looking forward to that. I thought we would have a little bit of fun here by going on and starting with round two of Kent's response to Aaron during their exchange back in 2018. Um, I feel like I had some pre-commentary, but I don't know what. Uh, all I can think of that I know I need to say now is just that I'm going to mute the intro only because I'm pretty sure the music is probably, YouTube library stuff, and I don't want to deal with revenue sharing and all that on here. Every penny should be mine, damn it. Oh, I want all the pennies. And otherwise, yeah, it shows what Aaron talks about in his response post this, that Kent is calling his stuff round three, even though this is the beginning of round two, because it went Aaron, then Kent. Round two, Aaron, then Kent. This is the then Kent, but it's listed as round three by him because Kent is an idiot. We know this. Let me click the magic buttons that make things go. And referring to that comment I was talking about earlier, if you're in my Discord, I posted it. So you can see that. I may do a dedicated video breaking it down because it's so getting ridiculous, like half the comments I get. The other half are kind of all right. Sometimes someone criticizing has a point, but usually they're just jerk asses about it. So, yeah, no. Welcome to the internet. But yeah, we're going to play the intro. Like I said, I'm going to have it muted. Once Kent shows his face on screen, then I'll unmute. This is back when they had production value and actual quality, although notice he has to call him Aaron Nelson and Dr. Hovind. It can't be Aaron Nelson and Kent Hovind. Even though that's not legally his name anymore. And there's the round three. But he did this as a parody of the background, as you see right here, that Aaron had for his videos. And he has the progressively darkening clouds as his videos continue. It was really beautiful, really poetic. The storm is coming kind of thing. And that's the stuff I love about Aaron. He puts in a lot of that, with going through that occult neo-pagan phase and just being a product of the time and subcultures he grew up in, stuff he liked, Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that, man. He exudes that kind of just essence that I don't know. I have a soft spot for that kind of stuff. I was in that scene in high school. Now I look perfectly normal, but back then I was atypical. Anyway, I've got Kent unmuted, regrettably. Let's get to this, and I'll check what y'all have been saying since I started.
Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland, the slightly chilly crew. What is it, 45 out there? Going down to 37. The folks in Maine are saying down to 37. Gee, they'd love to see it. Anyway, thanks for joining us. It is, I forgot the date, 20th of something, November. And we got Thanksgiving dinner here for anybody who wants to come. 1 o'clock. You ready, Anthony? You ready?
Call ahead, yes.
Call ahead. Let us know how many.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should remind everybody that that comment it involved them accusing me of bullying Kent in effect. So, yeah. Given his behaviors, I don't think it's technically possible to bully Kent.
You already killed the turkey, and
Yes.
Okay, praise God. Tonight we're going to do a small segment of a response to Mr. R. Nelson, who has still not proved his name is Aaron Ra. He claims it is, but you prove it is, and then we'll call you Aaron Ra if you'd like, after the Egyptian hawk god or whatever that is. Anyway, so I'm going to play just...
I love that Aaron has explained the origins of his name, now his actual name rather than just his pseudonym or alias, numerous times, and of course, Kent doesn't care about that at all. It's like the same way I've explained my online alias. Doesn't matter. No one's going to bother to learn that. It's not important. But, they'll try to criticize it. Oh, and I love how the monitor is slightly askew. That's going to bug me all stream. Whatever.
Just a brief clip here of him, and then go through and give some comments. So if you'd like to join us, this is round, well, technically it's supposed to be the last round. He's supposed to give his 3 best evidences. I gave a response to all of that. Took 7 broadcasts, and then he was supposed to give a response to that, and this is part of it here, and I couldn't believe it's only 53 minutes, Mr. Nelson, and half of it's from some lawyer speaking, totally unrelated to the topic. So I think that's called padding or filler. Students do that when...
Yeah, filler. Kent Hovind accusing somebody of filling out a stream, a video. Okay.
They don't really have a good answer. They talk a lot in their essays, so because they don't have an answer at all. So I think that's what it is. Okay, so hang on. This is going to be short, and then I'll give my part of my response. Okay, you ready? Let's see.
So the pseudoscience charlatan Kent Hovind challenged me to a debate in a format creationists seldom use because they can't win. Usually they do live debates where you can't check their citations on the fly. And it's always been my experience that whenever creationists cite scientific research, they're either not peer-reviewed or they don't actually say what the believer says they do. I'll put a couple links below to prove that. But this is a video exchange debate where every assertion and its source can be examined and evaluated before posting a reply. And consequently, lie. The Gish Gallop doesn't work in this format, but Hovind still tried it anyway.
You bleeped it out. No, you had one of your tech people edit it out. That you made it safe for television, Hovind.
First round of this debate began with 10 minutes of introductory commentary, but only about 9.5 minutes.
Ken Hovind seems to be the kind of guy who'd find Leave It to Beaver too risque.
Minutes of actual debate, wherein I answered all of Hovind's questions. His response, however, came in the form of 5 episodes, averaging 42 minutes of his video for every 5 minutes of mine, adding up to 3.5 hours of total talk time, during which he accused me of having diarrhea of the mouth.
Did I really?
You took 3.5 hours to go through like a 30-minute video, Kent. And I know I can be long-winded in reactions, but damn.
Okay, Alt-Tab.
If the shoe fits.
Okay.
Because you wouldn't hold what he
So,
said in your hand.
Let's go through this.
Fucking voice is horrible. Can I scroll down? Yeah. Should note that I love one of the comments right here. Hey, look, it's AJ. Everyone say hi to AJ. You know, in the 4-year ago comment. Where is it? Some lawyer talking about something. Cut it out. Let's see. Where did they say? Someone made a comment about Kent needing the peanut gallery there, or to that effect. But yeah. Either way, it was funny seeing it's like, yeah, he has to do it with his little captive audience there.
Slowly, Mr. Nelson. So the pseudo-scientist charlatan Kent Hovind challenged me to a debate. I don't skip a word of what you say, Mr. Nelson. You skipped a whole bunch of my stuff and said you answered all my questions. Yeah, right. Okay. Challenge.
As always, Kent, 90% of what you said is irrelevant.
Challenged me to a debate in a format creationists seldom use because they can't win. Well, pseudo means false or fake. Not really so. False, not genuine, resembling or imitating. Okay. Pseudo.
Yeah, I mean, my name's Bible adjacent. So, you know, my name is more biblically relevant than Kent.
We're talking about real journalists, not the pseudo kind in this example here. Pseudoscience is a collection of beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as being based on scientific method. from Wikipedia, okay? Pseudoscience describes any belief system or methodology which tries to gain legitimacy by wearing the trappings of science, but fails to abide by the rigorous methodology and standards of evidence that are the marks of true science.
Now watch. What do you bet Kent's going to spend the next 15 minutes saying, well, that's evolution? Oh, well, all that does is fit with what creationism does to a T. I mean, Hovind's so predictable. But, oh, wait, I forgot. I just repeat myself all the time. That's all I do. I make the same jokes over and over like Hovind does. It gets boring. That's why I always have my audience here, who enjoys watching this crap, even if it is Hovind. Just some people. Anyway.
Oh, like claiming elephants and whales are related. Huh? You talk about pseudoscience.
Kent's hatred of Wikipedia stems from the fact that, one, it's honest, just on a whole. Two, more specifically, it, of course, acknowledges evolutionary fact and all that jazz. It contorts with actual reality. But three, and I think this is ironically the biggest part of it, is that it's extremely honest about him. The article, as written, covers a lot of good Hovind content. It's a good primer on just how much of a garbage person he is. And it still only scratches the surface. If you're in the Discord, we found some, we kind of went a deep dive on a few older videos. There's just like, oh man, some of the stuff he said back in the day. Whew. But his picture on Wikipedia is his mugshot from prison. So that's gotta, be constant salt in the wound right there. So he hates Wikipedia on those grounds. And I think the biggest one is actually the article on he himself.
Evolution fits it to a T. That's the pseudo.
Uh-oh, I called it. Not like we're all surprised. But at this point, we're getting into like uncharted territory. RN didn't do too much of a response to all of this stuff. Because it wasn't necessary. It just devolved into some insanity. And there were just little clips that RN pulled out and then did what he needed to do. So a lot of this will be fresh.
Pseudoscience. Look at this. Humans and whales are related. And the lizards and birds were all related. Wow. This is pseudoscience par excellence. What is science? Science is the concerted human effort to understand, or to understand better, the history of the natural world and how the natural world works, with observable physical evidence as the basis of that understanding. You get that? Science is based on observation. Short definition of science. I blew it up here. Systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. Where's the observation and experimentation of any animal producing any other kind of animal? Where's the observation?
First off, define kind. Second off, if y'all follow Professor Dave, he had a video upload where it's him. I forget the name of the guy who does creation myths, but him and Gutsick Gibbon talking about some of the pseudoscientists adjacent to James Tour, and they talked about speciation examples, not in super detail, but they mentioned some. It was an interesting little listen. I only made it about halfway through though. Then I had to get back to work, but it was a fun listen.
Observation. This is science, okay? Textbook says Earth has changed much since its formation 4.5 billion years ago. That's not a scientific statement. That's pseudoscience, okay? Nobody saw that. Since its formation 4.5 billion years ago, Earth has changed. Life, too, has evolved on Earth. Well, now, Mr. Nelson, this debate is supposed to be about the 3 best evidences for evolution. Let's define that word. I know you don't like this, but too bad, okay? The word evolution has many meanings, only one of which is actually scientific. Cosmic evolution, the origin of time, space, matter, the Big Bang, is not scientific. No observation, no experimentation, no testing. It is pseudoscience. Okay, the Big Bang.
Do I even need to say, no, Kent, you're wrong? This is a matter of course, I'll say it. No, Kent, you're wrong.
Bang is pseudoscience. Then you have to have chemical evolution. This is part of the theory. There are 92 naturally occurring elements.
No, it's not. You keep on saying what you gotta say. I'll keep on saying what I gotta say, Kent. This is the little niche I've carved out for myself. That's what I do. You do your thing, I do my thing. That's maybe 5, 6 years, 7 years late. But hey, I've been thinking a lot of this stuff since this happened. I just never, did videos to say it. Now I have the opportunity.
And then the synthetic ones, that even if the Big Bang Theory were true, they say it would only produce hydrogen, helium, maybe deuterium, and lithium. How do you get all these 92 elements?
But the cosmic microwave background's just God's light. They said, let there be light, and then there was light. See, that proves that the Bible is totally legit. For real, for real. Yeah, and it does bother me that he constantly says Mr. Nelson. I despise crap like that. Just that behavior. Or the thing where when people get into a little heated, and one person, usually the more proper person, however one may define that, will always call the other sir. It's like, no, you're wrong, sir. It's like, don't do that shit. It's just weird. Because non-Bible literacy doesn't believe the earth is flat. Yeah. But, he has excuses around that because you can twist the Bible to make it say whatever you want.
They say, well, fusion takes place. Well, you can't fuse past iron.
Yes, you can. Stars just generally won't. The fusion process in stars doesn't produce enough energy. Iron takes more energy than it gives in the fusion process. That's the point where things flip-flop. Up in this range, up towards the top, fusion produces energy. Down here, fusion takes energy. Then it goes the other way around. Up here, fission takes energy. Then after iron, fission releases energy. Not very much, because most of this stuff is really stable. But then you get down here, nuclei get really big, you start reaching points where the nuclear force can't quite hold things together. And lots of them like to kind of go pop from time to time. It's real simple. Real simple. But technically speaking, Kent, and in practically speaking, you throw enough energy in there, you can fuse elements into anything. That's how we make the synthetic elements. You numbnut piece of shit. I taught high school science and math for 15 years. I taught calculus. I taught physics. I taught everything. Obviously not well enough, dumbass.
They say, yeah, you can. If you get enough stars to explode near each other, it'll produce the energy required to fuse past iron. Oh, so you got...
No, you use that little story for the birth of a star, where you then pull you got to lose 30 to make one, when it's explaining one process by which the gas cloud collapse that would eventually form stars could be triggered. You can't even keep your own crap straight.
Got to lose a bunch of stars to gain one. Okay, you should run for Congress. Help those.
In fact, honestly, if I was to debate Kent, that's what I'd want to be doing most. Is more astronomy, stellar stuff. I'm no King Crocoduck, but this stuff is my jam right there.
Guys borrow their way out of debt. Mm-hmm. Thirdly, is going to be stellar and planetary evolution. Nobody has ever seen a star form. Nobody. Or a planet. They've never seen one form. So since science deals...
Except we have.
...with observation and experimentation, it is pseudo-science to say stars have formed. The silent embarrassment of modern astrophysics is we do not know how a single one of these stars managed to form. The origin of stars represents one of the most fundamental unsolved problems of contemporary astrophysics. No one understands how star formation proceeds. It's really remarkable. It is pseudo-science to say stars form. It would be science to say stars blow up. We've seen novas and supernovas, stars blow up occasionally, but that's the opposite of a star forming. Exact opposite.
Except the resulting gas clouds, like the beautiful, Eta Carinae you showed earlier are full of everything you need to form quite a few stars, actually, given that supernova remnant, and so is that. Yeah, 1987A. You have all that material, not just more hydrogen to form more stars, but you've also got heavier elements hanging around that you can make planets with. And by you can make, I mean that's what'll happen due to gravitational processes and thermal processes as the star ignites. Stars dying is how solar systems are born. The population 3 stars, the first ones, there weren't any solar systems. Those stars were massive, bigger than it's possible to form now. Just about all hydrogen and a bit of helium. Lived fast, died young, spread the hydrogen they didn't fuse out, and of course, in their deaths, formed plenty of primordial black holes. Or not primordial; they would have been the first set of more natural forming black holes, if such a concept even makes sense. The primordial ones would have been formed hypothetically from the Big Bang itself. But that's neither here nor there. But you get all those heavy elements again that would have formed the first planets. Where those would have been, what they've been like, who knows? But that would have been your first opportunity for planets, because that's how it all happens. All those heavy elements, all the elements save for hydrogen, helium, and that little bit of lithium are from stellar fusion. And yeah, you can go past iron all day long, Kent. You get a star collapsing. Whew. You taught math so much. Calculate the energy of that. Calculate the energy of a star with 10 solar masses collapsing. Could you do that? Get back to me on that. I'd love to see the result number.
Opposite. Number 4, there's going to have to be organic evolution. Life has to start from non-living material. It is pseudoscience. It is not supported by observation, experimentation, or testing to say life can start from non-living material. One atheist I debated said, Hovind, what are you going to say if scientists ever produce life in the lab? I said, well, first of all, I would point out they're absolutely nowhere close to making life in the lab. Nowhere close. He said, well, yeah, you're right. I said, but if a bunch of scientists spend a bunch of money and produce life in the lab, I guess that would prove it takes intelligence to make life. Wouldn't it?
Right. So it's an unwinnable thing with you.
It is pseudoscience, Mr. Nelson, to say life came from non-living material. Now, I know you believe that.
Falk Firebeard, nail on the head. Kent is the only religious locale I know. Same here. And that's another thing that people don't seem to understand as to why people like I, Claude, Big Bad Mama, AJ follow the way we do. Is that this is a case of Kent being a lolcow. One should not forget that. And other people have brought this up. That trucker Billy in some of his videos, his older ones that he's been re-uploading, he mentioned that. And he used the exact same phrasing that I would go on to come up with myself like a couple of years later when I started this regarding Kent's lolcow status. But, some people just don't get it.
But that's your religion, not science. Nobody knows how a mixture of lifeless chemicals spontaneously organize themselves into the first living cell. Primordial soup from Wikipedia. Primordial soup is a term introduced by the Soviet biologist Alexander Oparin. In 1924, he proposed a theory of the origin of life on Earth through the transformation during gradual chemical evolution. You guys say the first 5 are not part of evolution. Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Wikipedia. Chemical evolution
from actual fucking science and people who can actually fucking read.
Particles that contain carbon in the primordial soup. Number 5, you have to have what's called macroevolution, where you change from one kind of animal to another. Nobody's ever seen a dog produce a non-dog. It is pseudoscience to say dogs are related to anything other than dog kind. And you believe, Mr. Nelson, and you would say it clearly, you believe dogs and pine trees are related because they're both eukaryotes. That, sir, is pseudoscience. Notice the smile.
Speaking of Big Bad Mama, hey there, Big Bad Mama. You saw this post. You saw that we're bullies and that we're obsessed. Isn't it great? Clowns everywhere.
Okay. You may get a big dog or a little dog, but you're going to get a dog every time. And most of the variant dogs that they get wouldn't survive in nature. You got to babysit them now to keep them alive, keep the hawk from carrying off the chihuahua. I tell the kids in my seminar, okay, I get a 5-year-old.
Even Outcast, nobody knows, which when translated into English means I refuse to learn because I'm Hovind.
Here we have a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. Which one is not like the others? I've only had one kid ever miss it. He said the boy. Good point. Okay. Bible says they will bring forth after their kind. Now that is science.
Well, if that ain't the stupidest thing I've heard all day.
They bring forth after the kind. That's all anybody's ever seen. It's observable. You can do it in an experiment. Crossbreed some dogs and see what you get. Plant some corn, see what grows. It'll be
But can't. The animals and plants don't care what we call them.
corn. Okay? There are simply no exceptions. Science, observation, testing, experimentation.
Thanks, Big Bad Mama. That does make me gives me a sense of pride in what I do. I always have to be reminded that, yeah, when you piss them off, that means you're doing it right.
Says this is correct. Now, Charlie Darwin wrote a book and called it Origin of Species, tried to change the word from kind to species, like you do to change it from kind to clade. Okay? Species. Number 6 is microevolution, variations within the kind. Now, this one happens. These first 5 are pseudoscience. False, fake, phony, pretending to be science. Using all the big words and the trappings of science, but no observation, no experimentation for any of those.
All right, Kent, I'd like for you to perform an experiment that shows you're God, and then perform an experiment that shows you're Jesus. That demonstrate the soul. Can you provide for me the evidence of the soul? How about sin? Can you quantify sin? Can you put a bunch of it in a jar for me? Shake it up. Let me see what goes on. Huh? Can you? Huh? Can you, Hovind? Can you? Didn't think so. Also, that's a great freeze frame right there. Duh. I can't Hovind. Look, I didn't screen cap the other one. I didn't notice it, but now Deviant's bringing it up that I'm getting some good pauses here. I'm saving that one.
If there is, please show it. I would like to see it. We got lots more on this on video number 4 of our series.
Justin with a banger. Are you related to a banana? Kent, stop staring at my dick. Crossbreed some dogs, you'll get Hovind. Yeah. Whiny bitch. Oh.
The lies in the textbooks. Get the whole series, $50, 18 hours, plus one of the debates I did against 3 professors. Pseudoscience describes any belief system or methodology which tries to gain legitimacy. That's these first 5. They're trying to gain legitimacy. Watch this now. By wearing the trappings of science. But
well, let's note that Hovind is focusing all out on just the opening of Aaron's reply video, or in the first sentence of what Aaron said, and Kent is obsessively dissecting every bit of it, absolutely needlessly. He's hyper-focused on this pseudoscience crap and trying to wedge it back in when it's fundamentally irrelevant and is of the same level of relevancy that if Aaron were to have focused on this, Kent would call it out instantly.
Fails to abide by the rigorous methodology and standards of evidence. Where's the evidence for any of these? Where's the beef? It is pseudoscience.
Wow, Kent, like anyone in 2018 No, I was gonna say like anyone in 2018 even remembered that or knows about that. But one, there's that big thing of 80s nostalgia, which even I'm a part of, even though I lived through half of it, but was a baby, so I really don't remember it. Um, but two, given that most of your audience is old as fuck and dumb as fuck, yeah, they'd remember it. Where's the beef? Actually, that's a pretty good ad campaign. I like it.
Mr. Nelson, you're accusing me of being a pseudoscientist. And standards of
Who was the presidential candidate? Walter Mondale who did that? And he was like the one who killed it? Get your slogan ruined by Walter Mondale. Dude, name just sounds like a buzzkill.
evidence that are the marks of true science. True science says dogs produce dogs. Cows produce cows. No exceptions. Cats produce cats. Now, you may get a variety of colors.
Yeah, I was right. During primaries in the spring of 1984, when the commercial was at its height of popularity, Democratic candidate and former Vice President Walter Mondale used the phrase in some of his arguments. Program policies championed by his rival, Senator Gary Hart, were unsustainable, beginning in 11th March 1984. Why do I know such useless crap? There's no reason for me to know that. And yet I remember Walter Mondale used the "where's the beef" line. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm not a success in life. Fuck you, Walter Mondale. You ruined my life. All right, let's continue.
You may get some differences in your cats, but they're going to be a cat. And a 3-year-old can tell you it's a cat.
By the way, Billy, hey, we mentioned you earlier on just, coverage of the Hovind, and that is a great episode of The Simpsons right there. If the Ayatollah can't have it, no one can. I love that. Just give him back his soul. I've got work in the morning. Simpsons. Love you.
Abby, who's 2, knows a cat when she sees one. Science. A branch of knowledge or study dealing with a body of facts or truths systematically arranged and showing the operation of general laws. Okay? That would exclude the first 5 branches of evolution. Systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. This is standard definition.
If I can remember, I should probably make that into a shirt. I want to make shirts that are just like pure black shirts with white text with whatever little stupid saying I've done. And I want one that says Walter Mondale ruined my life. The lack of context is beautiful. Hang on, let me type that down somewhere. Okay, notepad, shirt, idea. Walter Mondale ruined my life. Save shirt idea. Alrighty, let's continue.
Of science off the internet today. Science from Wikipedia. They said pseudoscience, or your quote here, describes any belief system or methodology which tries to gain legitimacy. That's evolution to a T. This is pseudoscience right here, Mr. Nelson. These trees of life with all their lines connecting everything. I got to get rid of this guy, that's for sure. This is pseudoscience.
That's what Kent said, and then suddenly there were more skeletons in the pit at Dinosaur Adventureland. And I only said skeletons because it's a weird way to say skeleton, and I like it. It's like if drowning wasn't garbage. I like skeleton.
To connect all these things, to say everything is related to a common ancestor. Oh yes, boys and girls, look at this. We drew lines on the paper. Can't you see they're related? That's not observation. That's not experimentation. That is...
Otaku, I have one response to your Ayatollah Asahola shirt. Table 5.
Pseudoscience. Promoters of pseudoscience, like you, Mr. Nelson, often adopt the vocabulary of science. And boy, you have got an impressive vocabulary. Congratulations.
This whole thing is just Religious projection 101, narcissistic projection 101. Kent, you're describing yourself, and that's it.
Relations. Describing conjectures as hypotheses, theories, or laws, providing so-called evidence from observation and expert testimonies, or even developing what appears to be mathematical models of their ideas. This is evolution to a T. And you're accusing me of this? Go look in the mirror, son.
There he goes calling somebody son. Call me son, Kent. I dare you.
However, in pseudoscience, there is no honest attempt to follow the scientific method. I agree. Scientific method use observation, testing, experimentation. Where has anybody ever seen a dog produce a non-dog? Where's the beef? Where's the science? Provide falsifiable predictions or develop double-blind experiments. I'll tell you what, let's do a double-blind experiment. Let's have some people in England breed their dogs and have some people in China breed their dogs, and they won't even know about it. They won't even know about it.
And that's how you fuck with a fan of The Simpsons who liked the show past the first couple of seasons. Once you hit season 6, 7, 8, you get a lot of my favorite episodes in there. One of them being the episode where George and Barbara Bush move in, which is where the Ayatollah Asahola reference came from. It opens with a yard sale in the community, hence I brought up Table 5, where Homer takes Staying Alive and turns into a nice little disco ad for Table 5. And that's when the Bushes show up. And now that song, Table 5, Table 5, is stuck in Otaku's head, never to come out. That is how Simpsons fans torture each other. Lisa needs braces.
Each other. I'll contact both of them and see what they get for an offspring. Although pseudoscience is designed to appear scientific, like evolution, it lacks all of the substance of science, from Rational Wiki a couple hours ago. The fossil record, this is pseudoscience. The fossil record, horse evolution. There is no fossil record, Mr. Nelson.
Really? It didn't click with me that that's the first appearance of Disco Stew, but that does make sense. I feel like he's in older episodes, but I know he's not. Awesome. And yeah, that's when Disco Stew showed up. And there we go. Dental plan. You say Lisa needs braces, in a group, someone's going to shout out, dental plan. Also, can't sleep, clown will eat me.
There are fossils, lots and lots of fossils, but it's not a record. None of them talk. None of them have a date stamped on them. Somebody is making up this imaginary pseudoscience.
Yeah, Ken's challenges to debate are especially meaningless given he goes through no effort, he or his team of crackpots, to actually contact other people and set up debates on their terms. It's always a request for, debate me, Big Bad Mama Senpai, debate me.
Progression from one animal changing into another. Yes, let's line up all this. Look at all the similarities of the skeletons. Yep, and today gibbons have babies and they come out to be gibbons. Humans have babies and they turn out to be humans.
Yeah, and apes have babies and they all turn out to be apes. And you know what group's included in apes, right? Homo. Remember, Kent, you're a big homo.
Your daughter's what?
Sapien.
4? Were you worried at all that she was going to be something other than a human when your wife was expecting? Not the least bit worried. Not the least bit. Okay. Okay. Fossil evidence of evolution, they say. Whale missing links. To say a four-legged creature turned to a whale is pseudoscience. This is fake science. There is no observation, there is no experimentation for any of this. They arranged them in order. Look at this, boys and girls. Four-legged creature slowly learned to swim and became a whale. This is not only pseudoscience, this is stupid.
It's pseudoscience. Let's see, let's jump back. And then we're going to go slow-mo, because I have fun with that. Yet another thing to thank AJ for is going slow Hovind, because it's fucking funny.
Stupid.
Well, that's not what we wanted. We wanted pseudoscience, so here we go.
Learned to swim and became a whale. This is not only pseudoscience.
Oh, love it. That's why we do it. We're here for fun. It's ironic that people take these streams way too seriously, not realizing what we do here. Whatever, not my problem.
This is stupid.
Yes, Kent, this is very stupid. Your stream is stupid. My stream is stupid. But at least I'm entertaining.
I took a little short nap this afternoon. I get wound up when I take a nap, don't I? This is great. Yeah.
How do they know what those missing links look like when they've never found them?
They've never missing links. Well, they're missing. That's why you got to send more money so they can do more research to find it. They're continually looking for it. Transitional fossils, evidence of evolution. This is baloney. This is not science. Everybody that's ever observed whales producing babies, the baby comes out and turns into a whale. No exception.
So it wasn't a whale when it was born, Kent? You said it, not me. The baby comes out and turns into a whale. So it's not a whale when it's born. So whales don't give birth to baby whales.
And they call it hind limb bones on both of them. This is an absolute lie. Those bones are part of the whale's reproductive system. That is pseudoscience. Evidence in the fossil record, like Lucy, evidence of evolution. No fossils count in an honest court of law.
Yeah, but Phil Collins is a flat earther. I think he's into other conspiracy theories, but god damn is he a talented musical artist.
None of the fossils would count. This is a lie, number 2 in my series. This one says, evidence of evolution. The fossil record provides some of the strongest evidence that species evolved over time. First place, no fossil could provide any evidence because you're putting an imaginary interpretation on them. So I can't stress this enough, and I wish.
Says the guy who believes in a book that puts on an imaginary interpretation on reality. It's so funny. So funny I forgot to laugh.
Wish you atheists would admit it. No fossils count as evidence for evolution. All you know is it died. You can't prove it had any kids. You sure can't prove it had different kids. And if you did get one that produced a different offspring, who's it going to marry? Don't you have to get 2 at the same place at the same time? And they got to find each other and.
Doesn't have to be 2. It could be a whole damn cluster of them. Have you seen some animals go at it? You seen some bugs go at it? Plants? Shit, plants is nothing but a giant orgy. Wake up, there's pollen on your truck. Congratulations, your truck was involved in a vegetative bukkake. All right? Life's a little more complicated than grow up, get married, and have babies. Sound like such a chode saying that.
And be interested, you got a whole host of problems. And they got to be the opposite sex. What if you got 2 males at the same time? Both evolved. Never mind. San Francisco would love that.
That's not how it works. You know, you complain about us criticizing you for saying this, and you say, "Oh no, I'm never talking about an individual changing into something." Yet you literally do right here. This is your thing. But you know, lying is okay when you're lying for Jeebus.
This is silly. Evidence for evolution. There is no fossil record. There are bones in the dirt. You don't look back in the fossil record. You look down in the dirt. When I was at the bottom of Grand Canyon, it was the same date as it was when I was at the top. Didn't change at all. Same date. You don't look back through millions of years.
Yeah, you do. And also, in the time it took you to walk from the top to the bottom, were you then older when you reached the bottom? And then going back up to the top again, were you not even slightly older than both when you were at the bottom and when you were first at the top? Or is Kent Hovind always the same age? Just, you know, I may just be nitpicking here. Could just be being a prick. Or I could be showing how stupid your arguments are. I don't know. It doesn't matter when this video was done. You say the same shit over and over, so I can talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, criticize your crap, because you still say the same crap. And people still buy it. So, I don't know, get back to me on that, Hovind. I know you won't, but, the offer's open.
We put our interpretation on them. Keep in mind, dead animals do not reproduce or evolve. Fossils can contribute to our understanding of evolution. If you want to get pseudoscience out of the textbooks, Mr. Nelson, start right in the textbooks in your town. Darwin said, if my theory about gradual changes be true, numberless intermediate varieties must have been found. Well, none have been found. 0.
You're lying. You liar. You're a lying liar, Hovind.
Since Darwin, many of these links have been found. This is absolute lie. This is pseudoscience. Biology sitting over there.
It's coming here from our friend S'mores Pop-Tarts. Or they could reproduce asexually. Makes me think of War Games. Fuck, I forget his name. I want to say Flynn, and it's like, no, that's the guy from Tron. When the protagonist gets in the class after playing Galaga, being late, and the teacher asks him, who first came up with the idea of asexual reproduction? And he says, your wife. Oh, God. I wish I had the opportunity to deliver that same joke. Something would just push to that point. It'd be great. Especially against Hovind. Oh, man.
On the shelf. In the years after Darwin, his advocates hoped to find predictable progressions, and they still hope to find them. In general, these have...
Yeah, Joe, I mean, that's the way it's always been, making fun of him. But especially now, yeah, he's always been too far gone. He's been too far gone since before most of us were born. Hell, probably before all of us were born. But there is hope in reaching those who follow him. I was talking with Seth, Ambushed Apostate, about this regularly, because he and I have a bit of we not only have contrasting backgrounds, but we also have contrasting approaches to this stuff. Whereas I'm a cynical, comedic asshole, blasphemous fucker who just doesn't care, and he's far more reserved with his things, because he knows he's trying to reach people who would immediately be turned off by 99% of what I do. However, even he still sees perfectly valid position for my stuff in somebody who's opening up more to the idea of criticizing the stuff. Can see this and see that it's okay. And whatever value that brings to somebody, I'm glad I can be a part of it. I'm glad I can help y'all be parts of it through me and through your own efforts. Continue to promote whatever you guys might do. If we chat in Discord or if y'all have your own channels, what have you. Because that's the real goal, is just reaching whomever might find our content, our comments, our thoughts of value. And that's why we do this. It's a lot of fun, but it's also the hopes of helping somebody who this might be the gateway to them feeling better. Don't necessarily want to make people atheist, but if they're happier in life that way, then good. I'll have helped.
Have not been found. Yet the optimism has died hard, and some pure fantasy has crept into textbooks. David Ropp, University of Chicago, a strong believer in evolution. He knows there's no fossil evidence. What creationist scientists are asking for is a simple evidential criteria that would support macroevolution in the fossil record. That would be at least 40 to 50 successive fossil species showing major generic change, macroevolution. Talk Origins doesn't list a fraction of this number. But this isn't an unrealistic number of fossils if the Earth is as old as macroevolutionists maintain. There are gaps in the fossil graveyard, place where there should be intermediate forms, but where there is nothing whatsoever instead. No paleontologist writing in English, French, German denies that this is so. It is simply a fact. Darwin's theory and the fossil record are in conflict.
No, they're not. And who the hell is this Berlinski? I don't trust him. Let me look him up. Dr. D. It almost looks like a fake name. American mathematician and philosopher, mathematics, history of science as well. Is that the same one? Is that even the same one? Berlinski on Jordan Peterson. I mean, is this even the same guy? Could there be more with that thing? Citing which one which? Whatever.
Even if fossils counted, you don't have any that would work. None. According to Stephen Gould of Harvard University.
Yeah. Even if the Bible was acceptable, it wouldn't be true. None. See how easy it is hand wave away stuff, Kent? Maybe we should look at things in a little more detail.
Arthropods are the largest animal group. Where did they come from? As Darwin noted in The Origin of Species, the abrupt emergence of arthropods in the fossil record during the Cambrian presents a problem for evolutionary biology. There are no obvious simpler or intermediate forms.
Oh man, this one's got to be read. Lovely, lovely source of comedy, Justin. God, you're all great. In high school, I got dragged to the principal's office to explain my absence. What were you doing that was more important than class? I was fucking your wife. That's how I got kicked from high school. Nice. It's not like you wanted a real answer. Yeah, seriously.
Either living or in the fossil record. Where did the fish come from? Yet the transition from spineless invertebrates to the first backboned fish is still shrouded in mystery. How about the birds? The evolutionary origin of whales remains controversial among zoologists. The true origin of birds is still up in the air. Cute play on words, but he's honest. They don't know. I can tell you the origin of birds. God made them. Not complicated. How about flowering plants?
Who made God? Gotcha.
The origin of angiosperms, an abominable mystery to Darwin, remains so.
Hovind said sperms. Oh, and I don't know if I was muted or not a second ago. When I paused for that split second, I said, "Who made God?" Hovind. You may have heard that. I'm not sure, but yeah, Berlinski does sound like a communazi. That's all it does. We've got to fight the communazis. Right near Wolfcastle. Forget the name of that film. But yeah. Everyone say hi to Jess, or else.
100 years later and is little better today. It is pseudo-science to say.
Yes, S'mores, it was always great having you here, as always. We'll catch you next time. If you don't have an opportunity to pop back in later, I don't know. I doubt it, but, just got to qualify that.
There is evidence for evolution. Both the origin of life and the origin of major groups of animals remains unknown, Grolier Encyclopedia. There's an artist's conception of what the so-called crocodile-fish creature, known as the Tactalic rossi, might have looked like 375 million years ago. Why would it come on land?
Tactalic rosier. And because at that point it had developed a reasonable ability to breathe straight up air. And it fucking felt like it.
Who would it marry?
Not applicable.
What did it eat?
The same shit it ate in the water. You realize it would have been, for lack of a better term, amphibious. It would have gone in and out of the water. It wouldn't have just come up on land and then that's it. I'm just on land now forever. I'm a landlocked animal.
Did it learn to breathe first or walk first?
Breathe. Because we have lungfish. We know how they operate. We know how swim bladders developed into lungs. And that's a crazy thought. Your lungs are modified swim bladders. Blows your mind. But yeah, we understand this. It coming up on land. I mean, mud skippers will hop up on land. They ain't got freaking lungs. Oh, but then maybe it got on land first. Nah, because this thing kind of lived a bit differently as far as we can tell. But either way, the question kind of doesn't matter that we know or don't know. The fact remains we know the goddamn thing existed. We see where it lived. We know what kind of environments it was in.
Don't you kind of need both at the same time? I mean, if you're going to come out of the water onto land, looks like you got to have a whole bunch of things solved all simultaneously.
No progressive steps. Oh, you're trying to build a house. You got to build all the floors at once. You can't build one floor on top of another on top of another. Huh? Dumbass.
Like if your car is going to fly, I think you'd have quite a few changes to go from a car to an airplane, all at the same time.
It's always cars with this man.
Why would fossils transition, but living ones cannot do it? There's a lot of
Fossils don't transform. Fossils don't do anything. They're dead. They're fossils. The organism did exactly what all organisms do, all populations do. I should say populations of organisms. Because again, note your verbiage right here. Why could fossils transform but living ones cannot? As if the individuals are transforming, which again is not the case. The isolated populations will diverge. Specialization and speciation will happen. It's really straightforward, and this is the best you can do, is juvenile hand waving away. It's so pathetic. You're so pathetic. But you keep going. So be it an older video or something uploaded yesterday, I still react to it. Until you're gone, and even then, probably for a little while after. Because it's fun doing this.
A lot of animals today live in the water. We don't see any of them coming up on land. How many fish we got in our lake out there? We put in thousands of fish.
Evolving into a beaver.
One of them turned into a beaver. Yep, you're right. Okay. Now look, Mr. Nelson, if you find a fossil in the dirt, all you really know is it died, okay? You don't know it had any kids, and you sure don't know it had different kids. So why do you claim bones in the dirt can do something no living animal can do? You're making a pseudo-science claim that animals in the past were able to do something that no animal today can do, because science deals with things we can observe, study, test, demonstrate, experiment. Luther Sunderland asked evolutionists for evidence if they had for their theory. What do you have? The British Museum of Natural History has the largest fossil...
I need the evidence you have for God. And the Bible doesn't count. I'm not being facetious. It really doesn't. Yamato.
collection in the world. When the senior paleontologist was asked why he did not show the missing links in his book, he said, "I fully agree with your comments of the lack of evolutionary transitions in my book. If I knew of any, fossil or living, I would certainly have included them. I will lay it on the line. There is not one such fossil." Colin Patterson. There are no fossils that are missing links, no intermediates.
It's Colin, not colon. Fuck, you're sick, Kent. Little things like that. He's gonna be that kind of guy.
There are no missing links. The whole chain is missing. The absence of fossil evidence has been a persistent and nagging problem for evolution. That's Stephen Gould at Harvard University. So now he come up with a dumber idea yet called punctuation.
Okay, that Berlinski is a Discovery Institute shill. I figured as much.
Weighted equilibrium. He said, we don't find any fossils in missing links because maybe a reptile laid an egg and a bird hatched out. Oh, that's brilliant. The first bird hatched from a reptilian egg, Richard Goldschmidt.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Well, who's this bird going to marry? They give two choices to the kids here. Did evolution happen gradually, or did evolution happen with punctuated equilibria? Did it go in jumps, leaps, or gradually? There's a third choice. It didn't happen at all. They don't even give them that choice.
Right.
That's like saying, okay, are elephants red or blue? How about gray?
I don't know, Kent. Depends on how you name the colors. What if the color, or someone's perception of colors, and by that I mean their ideas of the names of them, is so skewed that the gray of an elephant actually is a red or a blue or whatever to them. I brought this up before, but there's the whole thing in Japanese that green is what we call green is actually considered a blue is actually a subset of green. uh, Midori. Then aoi is used to differentiate it from conventional greens. But traditionally, it wasn't a thing. That's why they have blue traffic lights in Japan in some cases, because it meets the criteria of green. It's Midori.
This is not education, this is indoctrination. Soviet style 101.
Oh, yes, the Soviets, you know. Remind me again who were the first in space? Twice. Remind me who had an autonomous space shuttle? Remind me who had the first space station? Then again, I also point out who made it to the fucking moon, baby. Yeah! But, you know, you talk shit about the Soviet Union, and there's a lot of shit about them. But there were elements of the country that were pretty damned awesome. And in retrospect, given that the Cold War ended 34 fucking years ago, although look at the situation now, one could argue it never ended. It's easy to look back and see where their flaws were, where there were some serious problems, and where some things were actually pretty damn cool. But it wasn't the mind slave nightmare that you make it out to be. That would be, to some degree, modern China. That would definitely be the DPRK. And that would also be religious fundamentalism to any level. And I dare extend that to all religious teaching. But, you know, I don't know anything. I'm just some dumb socialist.
The fossil record shows that an organism evolved through many small changes over time. No, it does not. They're lying. This is pseudoscience, Mr. Nelson. Which theory best describes the organism's evolution, gradualism or punctuated equilibrium? Again, give the kids two false choices. And they're telling them to think critically? When the kid gets done with his class, he's going to think he knows how to think critically. But he doesn't. He knows how to be brainwashed. And maybe that's what happened to you in your school. I don't know.
This shows Kent doesn't know how to teach, because those sections aren't teaching someone how to think critically. It's a little side thing of like, let's critically think about this. It's a chance for you to apply that kind of stuff and be like, hang on, let's just take a quick look at this and really focus on it. You get it bass backwards as always, Kent. But again, what do I expect? More from a teacher, obviously. Then again, I had some shitty teachers. None of them were like you, though. Except that one, but he wasn't a jerk ass. He was just a jerk.
According to the theory of gradualism, new species of horses evolve slowly. So in their mind, there's only two choices. It happened slowly, like Darwin said, or happened quickly, like Gould said. They're not even capable of thinking there's a third choice. It didn't happen at all. And it didn't happen. When I debated Dr. Pigliucci at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and I'll take you on anytime, Massimo Pigliucci, give me a call, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I'll come.
I don't know, debate me, bro, debate me. When I debated him back in, 1993.
Back to University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and take you on again. And the whole science staff, with half my brain tied behind my back, one eye closed, and 1 foot off the ground. Okay? Just to make it a little more fair. I said, Dr. Pigliucci, you've studied and taught courses on the evolution of plants for 10 years. You have received and spent $650,000 in grant money to study the evolution of plants. What is your best evidence you know of for evolution? He said, the evolution of whales. Just exactly what kind of a plant is a whale, anyway? Okay. He claims the hippo is evidence for evolution because it's in the process of adapting to an aquatic way of life. Hippo likes to go in water, so it's going to turn into a whale or a fish. I like to go in.
No, but the descendants of hippo populations could well continue to become more and more aquatic to a point where they spend their whole lives in water. Not hard to understand. They're already halfway there. And unlike you, they're not living on a prayer.
Water once in a while. I'm not going to turn into nothing. He claims the flying squirrel is evidence because it has half a wing.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I'll take shit that no one ever said for 500, Alex.
This is a university professor pushing pseudoscience. See, evolution is a shell game. I asked Pigliucci, the expert on plants, where the evidence was. He says it's in the whales. Here's the way it works. The biologist says, oh, the geologist has the evidence. The geologist says, no, the anthropologist has it. It's a shell game. There's a difference, though. They put a P under there. There's no P under any of them. It didn't happen.
I'm sure there's plenty of pee under you, though, Kent. Especially when you were talking with Aaron and the interaction that brought this all about.
In an honest court of law, no fossils would be admitted as evidence for evolution. None, and you know it.
Yep, you love that law there, Kent. That's why you've lost every trial you've ever been in.
He said Hovind is a pseudoscience charlatan, a person falsely claiming to have a special knowledge or skill, a fraud. Mr. Nelson, go look in the mirror. This is you, okay? This is called projection. You're projecting what you are, trying to put it on me. A charlatan, harming with, one making usually showy pretenses to knowledge or ability. A fraud, a faker. One who uses all kinds of big words to hide the fact that they don't have any evidence for evolution. He said, usually they do live debates where you can't check their citations on the fly. It's always been my experience that whenever creationists cite scientific research, it's either not peer-reviewed or they don't actually say what the believer says they did. I'll put a couple links below that to prove that. You did not put the link, so please.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. It's one thing to think of Kent and maybe just, some camera person just sitting in the thing filming this, but to realize this is a whole building with the rest of his cult compound in it. Which, seriously, isn't that just the most Jonestown thing about all this? The fact that you have to go to the Ken Hovind sermons every single night? I wonder if he announces them by going over the PA and saying, white knight, white knight.
Do, okay? But in this video exchange, debate where every assertion and its source can be examined and evaluated before posting a reply, and you said, consequently, and then you use that word again, won't fly. I don't know why you want to have that stuff in your mouth. I don't want to hold it in my hand, okay? But
a word?
Here's Texas Longhorn. That's a lot of bull right there.
Marty, you missed a lot, so you'll definitely have to go back and check out, especially some hilarious moments. We've determined that Walter Mondale ruined my life. You'll love when that comes up. It's one of those Chris laughing moments that everyone just seems to find so wholesome here. Definitely stick around for the end where we look at a shitty comment that I brought up at the beginning. Spoiler alert, I'm going to go on and show the comment at the end.
There? Okay. The biggest 8'5" horns. How about this one? The world's biggest bull. Now that's a lot of bull too, okay? Gee whiz. You said the Gish Gallop won't work in this format, but Hovind still tried it anyway.
Okay, spoiler alert, because I saw it in the comments. The rest of this is going to be him giving the life story, apparently, of Dwayne Gish. Also note that we're all of like 33 seconds into, roughly, into Aaron's video, and Ken has been blathering for near 30 minutes.
Mr. Nelson, you are the one who does the galloping off, running off into 40 different topics using all kinds of words. I got to stop and analyze some of the stuff and say, oh, what did he just say? Hit pause before he runs on and drops another load of that on somebody. Dwayne Gish was, I knew him, met him.
Load of that? Load of what, Kent? It's funny, you can say that, but actually saying the word bullshit is somehow horrible. But you can use a word to symbolize that oh so dirty word. How cute.
Him a couple times. He was a little short guy, absolute genius, okay? Dwayne Gish was a twin. He was born in White City, Kansas, the youngest
Dwayne Gish was a fucking dumbass.
of 9 children. He served in World War II, attaining the rank of captain. He was awarded the Bronze Star. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree from University of California, Los Angeles, and a PhD in biochemistry from University of Berkeley. Oh, okay. There's somebody with an accredited degree.
Look, you didn't call it berserkly there.
Mr. Nelson. You have an associate's degree, I understand, 2 years of college, okay? He worked as an assistant research associate at Berkeley and as an associate professor of Cornell University Medical College, performing biomedical and biochemical research for 18 years, joining the Upjohn Company as a research associate in 1960. So, the first round, let's see, where did I put that? I didn't take. Mr. Gish did 300 debates. I was privileged.
All of them lame.
To listen to a couple of them. He demolished the opponents. And so Talk Origins has an article on their Talk Origins site on how to handle people like Dwayne Gish. They said, if you're going to debate Dwayne Gish, you have to know your audience. You don't want to be boring. Go through anything except the facts, okay? They don't want to deal with the facts. It's all personality stuff. Just read it. I almost put it all in here. I thought this is going to take all night. You said, the first round of this debate began with about 10 minutes of introductory commentary, but only 9.5 minutes of actual debate wherein I answered all of Hovind's questions. No, Mr. Nelson, you did not answer any of my questions, okay? There's a story you might want to read called The Emperor's New Clothes, okay? You think you have answered them. You do not. You have not answered a thing, okay? You know the story, they kept, fraudulent guys took the king's clothes away, okay. However, his response, came in the form of 5 episodes, averaging 42 minutes of his video for every 5 minutes of mine. I am quoting word for word what you said. Haven't skipped a word, like you skipped most of my stuff in your so-called response. So Hovind's response came in the form of 5 episodes. Actually, it's 7. You poor guy. Adding up to 3.5 hours.
Hovind complaining about somebody crying, being a crybaby. When that's all this man does is whine. You're teaching evolution in school. Shut up, Hovind. Quit your fucking whining. Is your God so weak? They need you to do this day in, day out? And that's another thing. People giving me crap over my every other day streams. And some days I'm feeling more perky than normal or what have you. I may do multiple streams. Or I might stream repeatedly. I'll sometimes go like a week straight. Y'all loved it that time. I do it because y'all show up. Because I have fun, but I need content to watch. This stuff provides entertainment. Other stuff, hit or miss. And you look at when we covered that Russ's Movie Corner. People were like, no, don't do any more of this guy. And I'm like, okay. He's that pathetic.
Hours of total talk time.
But for Kent to whine, act like say, make fun of somebody supposedly whining about stuff when that's his entire career is bitching about evolution, get a life.
During which he accused me of having diarrhea of the mouth. Oh. Yes, I did, because you do have diarrhea of the mouth. Now, folks, that was the first minute of his 53-minute rant. Would someone like to transcribe the rest of it for me? I type slow, and I got lots more to do. That took me how long? 30 minutes to cover 1 minute of his...
No, it would have taken you about 3 minutes had you been able to focus, but instead you got to go off on your little rabbit trails of all kinds of needless shit.
I almost said it. I have a shovel. You have a shovel. Mr. Nelson, that was 1 minute of your speech. You are the pseudo-scientist par excellence. You are really, really good at it. How do I shut this thing off? Here, oh, there's my mouse. Okay, right there. So if somebody would like to type up the next minute or two word, I don't miss a single word he says, okay? I may have to bleep out a few, but I'd be honored to send it. How would you send it to me? Nick, email it to secretary@drdino.com. I get 1,000 email a week, and so I can't keep up. But
all of it spam, mostly Viagra pills, some of it animal helplines, if you know what I mean. Yep. Actually, I'll get an email. Somebody email the Hovind, please.
Anyway, we'll do minute number 2 later, unless, Mr. Nelson, you'd like to say, I surrender, I'm sorry, you're right, Hovind, leave me alone, quit picking on me, quit exposing me, and I'll leave you alone. I got other things.
Christ, this is so fucking pathetic. Oh. Kent, you're a wet fart. That's it. You're no threat to anyone. You're fucking pathetic. Especially thinking you somehow one-upped Aaron in this. What a fucking joke. Oh, man. You're so fucking pathetic.
Things to do, plenty more to do, okay? You're a nuisance, okay? You're a gnat flying around, okay?
He's a nuisance, a gnat. That's why you bring him up constantly. See, at least we have an appropriate designation for you as a lolcow. On the verge of being a horror cow in some ways. It depends on the video we're watching and how uppity you feel that time. You're a joke, though, either way. One that we take the time to laugh at. Constantly. Because it makes you miserable. And I love that. Because you being miserable means you get more desperate. Means you realize you're realizing how pathetic you are. How much of a washed up has-been you are. But there's still those diehards who follow you and think you have some kind of knowledge about anything. And so we keep this up. I don't know why people can't get that. But it's not my business. It's not my problem. But I bring it up lest some dumbass decide to leave another stupid comment that just makes me question why we've been fortunate enough to not have an asteroid wipe out everything on this planet again in another great mass extinction. Because sometimes, some days, you just beg for apocalypse, you know?
Okay, but I will answer the whole thing if you insist. I will, and I'm not. And you later on in the next minute said Hovind has to limit it down to less time. No, it takes 37 minutes to undo 1 minute of your gallop.
No, it takes you 37 minutes because you're an uncoordinated fuck.
Your raw rant. Okay, notice the smile. Okay, all right. Q&A, real quick. A couple of questions. Yeah, one, okay. Well, maybe two. Hey, I came across some info for you guys. Would the nuclear weapons released in Asia have affected carbon-14? I think I answered that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but yes, they would, okay? And that's why they've done, try to figure out what was the...
Look at that. He just crumples it up afterwards. No, Hiroshima and Nagasaki wouldn't have had much of an effect on carbon-14 at all. And you're ignoring all the, 300 some odd other tests there were and have been. Remember, the U.S. was testing nuclear weapons underground until, 92. I mean, we've done nuclear weapons tests during my lifetime. Just underground ones. It's fucking wild.
The carbon-14 in the past, in the atmosphere. I don't know how you can find something like that. But carbon-14 is dated based on several obvious assumptions that wouldn't hold up 2 seconds in an honest court of law. Get video 7 about a lot of stuff on there, or another whole hour video I did. Or is that 2 hours, I think? Just on carbon dating and the problems with it. $10 from our ministry, drdino.com. Okay. This one looks familiar too. Was Paul a false apostle? No. Robert. No, Apostle Paul wrote 13 books, maybe 14 if you count Hebrews in our New Testament. Definitely a great man of God. Do you believe Mockery Mbembe exists? I do indeed. That's the creature that they call Mockery Mbembe. Looks like this guy just threw down over here. In Congo, Africa, if you show this to the natives there, they'll say, oh yeah, that's Mockery Mbembe. He's not friendly. Don't get close. Active at night, very rarely seen. Just like we have coyotes on this property.
Very rarely seen, yeah. You're not going to see that big-ass thing walking around.
Mm-hmm. Never see them.
Never see them, do you?
Hear them.
And there's how many people living here?
Same with armadillo.
Same, yeah.
Yes, because, coyotes are as big as brachiosaurs.
Same as the armadillo. Okay. So yes, I do believe mockery and bumpy exist. If the natives in Africa claimed they killed one and ate it back in the early 60s or somewhere. Okay. How does the fact that humans are the only intelligent species in the world influence theory of evolution? Doesn't that mathematically disprove forming of life?
We're not the only intelligent species. Dolphins are probably, for all points and purposes, smarter than us. And intelligence also can be measured in multiple ways. And many other creatures specialize mentally in ways that we don't, and vice versa. Rats are pretty freaking smart. Birds are incredibly smart. Mentioned dolphins. Other apes are quite intelligent. Elephants, really fucking smart. Marine mammals. That goes in the dolphins again. Yeah, a lot of animals are pretty damn smart in one way or another. You just got the bonus of having opposable thumbs, the particular brains we do, and just some other fortunate quirks that caused us to become masters of manipulating the planet in the way we have. Because that's really all we do. We've just manipulated the planet to our bidding. That's our special skill. Outside of the long endurance. We tend to tire other animals out, but that's from our hunter-gatherer days. Well, at least we used to. You look at some people now. Anyway.
By random coincidence. Well, there certainly seems to be a great difference with human intelligence unless you get in to start believing in evolution. Then it drops to zero. Okay. But yeah, where is the intermediate intelligence? They're going to say, well, the dolphin or the elephant has intelligence. Nothing similar to humans. Nothing similar.
That's where you're wrong, Kent. I take offense to that. Elephants are intelligent as fuck. Dolphins are incredible. Whales are incredible. Dude, you are such an asshole. Even as stupid as my cats can be, they show an intelligence, a personality. And again, don't get me started on rats. Do not get me started on the intelligence of rats. Smarter than your dumbass. By the way, another perfect freeze frame. Hovind.
No creature in the world writes books, keeps records, does. And there are thousands of things humans do that no other animal does. None. We are miles apart.
How about you look at all the things different animals do that we also do? Like how elephants mourn the dead. Elephants have graveyards. It's not just a joke from thing from the Lion King. They really do. They have specific places they go to pass for those reasons. Everything's specialized. That's the thing you can't get. Because that's one of the key things of evolution is that every animal specializes in one way or another. And just the specializations add up.
Okay, Sharon writes in. Have you seen the article about the mysterious creature washed up in Roskillie Beach in Wales? Wonder what your thoughts are. Could it be a Chronosaurus? Haven't seen that. I have to check that out. There's a picture of it here. Really, can you zoom in on that?
Yeah. Every fossil is a transitional fossil. Every animal is a transitional form. Everything is in transition.
That's the creature that washed up on the beach in Wales. I'll have to check that article out. I don't know what it was. Wow. Now see, from the Christian perspective, it's simple. Dinosaurs always lived with man. The world's 6,000 years old. I used to say only 6,000. 6,000 is a long time. Yeah. I mean, the Vikings were running around 1,000 years ago. Columbus was trying to find this place 500 years ago. Our country just started. The Revolutionary War, 240 years ago? 6,000 is a long time. Okay, but dinosaurs are...
Damn, this is one of those things. This right here. Let us note this as a perfect example of me being corrected live on stream. double checking myself, seeing that I'm wrong, and immediately acknowledging it with just like, oh shit, my dumb ass was wrong. Now I feel like an idiot. I didn't get mad. I didn't, complain. I didn't argue. Although sometimes I've been known if I'm super confident on something, haven't had a chance to look it up. But Otaku's correct. AI overview from a quick Google search. The concept of elephant graveyards, where elephants are believed to travel to die, is a myth, although the idea persists in popular culture. While elephants do exhibit grieving behaviors around their dead, including showing interest in their remains, even covering them with debris, there's no evidence they migrate to a specific location to die. Large concentrations of elephant remains can occur due to natural causes like drought, poaching, or environmental toxins. So yeah, I was most definitely outdated on that. And that's absolutely fine. I accept that new information, realize I was wrong about something, and am now more correct about the universe than I was before. And that's awesome. Hovind would argue tooth and nail. He would argue to the death about this stuff when proven wrong. I didn't need anything major to be, proven wrong, quote unquote. I just, I'm just like, let me look this up. Oh, hey.
Big lizards with Adam and Eve. Noah took them on the ark. They've always lived with man. There could be some still alive. I don't know. As the human population expands, they're probably getting killed off or dying off or being crowded out of their habitat. That's enough. Let's quit. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am?
Can you do the dinosaur library?
Oh, yes. For Christmas, if you want to get something for some friends of yours or for your kids or for some neighbors' kids that try to influence somebody for the Lord, we thought of a good gift we could give. I'm going to look that side up. We have a lot of books for children.
Burn them all. Actually, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Dinosaurs.
I'm just being fucking funny. Burning books is kind of stupid, but at the same rate, the symbolism of it in that case.
All kinds of books for children. This would be a great instant library to give some kid that would keep them busy for a long time. Okay? And this is the whole thing for $75?
No, there's two separate ones.
Two separate ones. Oh, two separate ones. Gee whiz. This one, Teenage Dinosaur Library, $70.
$75.
And this one is children's, all the children's books and the video.
Boy, Kent, you don't know anything about the products you sell. It's almost like you have other clowns put the bundles together. And you don't do shit except work on your stupid PowerPoint all day.
You want to do something for Christmas? You might give somebody who's not saved, a cousin, neighbor, grandchild or something. Influence. Give something that'll make a difference other than a new bicycle. No, I'm not against bicycles, but for heaven's sake.
I'm sure you are somewhere, Kent.
Make your gifts have some eternal significance to them. Would be my suggestion. Thank you for reminding me. See you tomorrow, and have a good Thanksgiving. Come join us. And Mr. Nelson, anytime. Okay, bye.
No, I'd rather not go to DL. Does it just end? Yeah. Okay, so it just ends there. All right. All right. Well, that was round 3, part 1, according to the Hovind. So, before I go, do y'all want to see the comment that the mildly annoying ass comment earlier? I know some of you have seen it in the Discord. Do y'all want to see that? I just want to know, because I'm about to put it up anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And I'm bummed I was wrong about the elephant graveyard thing, but I legitimately appreciate being corrected on that. Makes The Lion King a little more lame now, but I don't think I'll ever watch The Lion King again. My ex was really into it, and yeah. Is what it is, but all right. Let us look at the flaming pile of crap that was that grammatic abortion of a comment I got earlier. From Simon Pay 1875. Comment on my Hovind vs. Raw Kentshire Part 7. Listen, it's a run-on sentence like a mother. Listen, mate, we all know what Bovind is all about by now. We know his past and his usual script. What you are doing is quite pathetic at this point. Making videos every day about this. Your channel isn't growing, bud. You need to change it up. It's like all the relevant voices in our community have had their say on Kent years ago, and you're sticking around licking the bones of the carcass and picking. Excuse me. Reading this apparently made me sick. and picking whatever rotten low-hanging fruit is left, making jokes about him saying sheetrock isn't entertaining anymore. Aren't you bored or starting to feel like a bully? So first off, in my Discord, Mapleson brought up a lot of the grammatical just hell that this is, and things like carcass and such being spelled wrong. But let's do this piece by piece. And remember, this is the only comment this person had ever left on the channel. I've never seen them before, never seen their name before, and this just feels like someone who's playing the they don't like Hovind card, but is actually trying to defend him in some way. Or this is a fucking lightweight idiot in the community who honestly we could do without. But we all know what Bowen's all about. Yeah, we've known about Hovind forever, depending on people's time in the community. People knew about Hovind before YouTube was even a thing. People still do videos on him, did videos on him then. They do them on him now. I'm not the only one. What, people can't cover something that someone else has covered? Oh, what I'm doing is quite pathetic. Okay, guys, apparently y'all are all in on some really pathetic stuff. I guess y'all have pathetic taste. Every day about this nobody. Well, as much as we joke about Hovind being a nobody, he's really not a nobody because he does still have people who follow his crap and believe what he says, and he is, by spewing the principles he does, a dangerous person on a whole to the progress of science, of reality, and of the nation with the way things are right now politically. And I don't make videos on him every day, and not every video I make is on him. Channel isn't growing, bud. You need to change it up. I do change things up regularly. The problem is it's really hard to find creationist crap or religious crap that's really interesting to react to. A lot of it just is really pathetic. I could change up more. I could go to other things, and I've considered that, but I also trying to do things slowly. I don't want to do sudden changes that alienate everybody. I hate when content creators just change everything they do overnight. And additionally, the Hovind stuff is my most popular content. On channel isn't growing, as if he has any idea on the metrics. This dumbass doesn't know anything about legacy accounts and what tends to happen when a channel that was going on for a while, then stops, then comes back and changes things. What happens? A lot of people who subscribe for the old stuff might not remember the channel, might not remember who the person is or what they do, or might not like the new content, and so they unsubscribe. So what's happening is I'm tending to gain just slightly more subscribers than I lose in legacy accounts. So yeah, it's growing fine. It's getting its new audience, but you don't understand YouTube. You have no uploads. You have nothing. And I'm not saying someone has to be a content creator to understand YouTube, but you obviously don't have a fucking clue because you can barely type. It's like all the relevant voices of the community have had their say on Kent. Again, the thing where you can't make videos on him because other people said that I can't do a video on it. Hey, buddy, I want to remind you, I was one of the first ones to do a video on Amont. Then everyone else started doing videos on him. I was the one. I set off that chain of shit. You're welcome. But then saying I'm looking around to pick up whatever's left when the man does new content every day. Yeah, he says the same crap, but there's always something different. We're watching the slow decline of this man, and he doesn't understand that. And granted, this is on, us covering these now 7-year-old videos. It still doesn't matter. We're addressing those videos as they were, as the products that they were, as the comments Kent said at the time in relation to Aaron Raw, because we didn't see all of that in Aaron's side because Aaron thankfully cut it down for us. But again, this dude's too fucking dumb to understand that. Also, if I didn't mention at the beginning, I fucking hate being called mate by people in the Commonwealth. Really fucking pisses me off. It's like I'm not your mate. I ain't your buddy guy. I ain't your guy, friend. That kind of shit. Making jokes about him saying sheetrock isn't entertaining anymore. It's called pointing out how much of a boomer he is. And me being pedantic about stuff because that's in my nature. That's why these regulars, my lovely, lovely audience right there, who I haven't seen in a moment because I've just been staring at this screen, this comment, That's what they tune in for, is for me to just pick some random thing and go all into it. Because they get to know me as a person. And while we might disagree on stuff like the pronunciation of the word GIF, that's fine. They get to know me as I am. If you aren't entertained by it, you can go fuck off. Which I welcome, because leaving a comment like this is so fucking stupid, and every YouTube creator calls this shit out. Who does this kind of stuff, who reacts in these kinds of ways to stuff, will call this crap out. I'm still subscribed to the Archfiend for some reason, from forever ago, one of the earliest subscriptions I had, back when the man's hair wasn't gray. Back when he complained about Chris Boers and Irate Gamer and stuff. I don't watch any of his content, but I still like the fact that he does stuff, and I see him posting his replies to comments, and it's fucking hilarious because people are just such dumbasses like this, and he just goes into them. And other creators do it too. But saying, my stuff isn't entertaining anymore, well, then I guess my audience and all these views and all these likes, these people aren't entertained. They're just bots. You're all just bots. Did you know that? I got bots in Sweden. I got bots in Germany. I got bots in Ireland. I got bots in Canada. You're all not real, because obviously no one's entertained by this. Aren't I bored? Ken's boring as fuck sometimes, but I do this for the interaction with the audience. And you, again, don't understand that. If anyone watches these and doesn't notice that a lot of what I do is audience interaction and commentary on just whatever, talking about my life, interacting with what y'all have to say, more so than Hovind, as much as I try to focus on Hovind and sometimes power through stuff and don't react to every comment like I'd want to. You're obviously missing the point completely. And feeling like a bully, no, Kent deserves every bit of harassment he can get. And to dare say something like that, to say that someone's bullying Kent Hovind, yeah, that's why I think you're just a fucking Hovind shill. Or a pathetic example of atheist content consumer. So after this, I think I left I've starting a policy of leaving thanks for the comment with the S as a $sign on stupid crap like this. And then I sent them off to the fucking shadow realm. Because I just, I don't know. And be like, oh, you got so energetic, you got so upset, you were butthurt by it. It's like, no, not butthurt. It's just fucking annoying, and not in the way you want it to be. It's annoying like a gnat flying around. It's just like, this is stupid. This is a waste of data. This was a waste of bandwidth. This was a waste of everything for you to make this comment. But you know what? You're going to make this stupid shit. I'm going to dissect it and have fun doing it. And you'll notice that during this, I have just been on a straight monologue running right off top of my head. Just reacting to everything. Just letting it flow. Because sometimes I get in those moments. Especially when I'm feeling kind of indignant. When I feel like someone's just deserving of this kind of shit. And oh man, it's so good to do this. So good. Feels so nice. So fuck you, dude. Go fuck around with something else. I don't give a damn. I just don't. You're just an example of stupid ass comments not to leave. Just like that dumbass couple of weeks ago who was trying to give me shit over evidences, and some other morons I've had recently that I hadn't even bothered to acknowledge. I mean, what can you say? What can you seriously say that I guess I hadn't already said during this? So let me look at y'all's commentary. Let's see. Oh man, y'all were all over this one. Let's see. Yes, we do. From Deviant. Otaku, I tried reading it earlier and just got confused reading it. Yeah, it's butchering. Hovind is still out there and still a danger to others. Deviant with, yeah, that's a troll in full original sense. Someone pretending to be what they're not while being a hateful shit. Yep. Joe, yeah, definitely. Catch you next time. Justin, like a rock station switching to easy listening. Yeah, referring to just instantly changing what you do. Like there's content creators like Pushing Up Roses I was into for a little while, and then she immediately changed from the gaming stuff to doing like Murder She Wrote and other junk, and I'm just like, No. I mean, I ain't against Golden Girls and Murder She Wrote and all that stuff, but you just completely 180'd. And also, she has a bit of a fucking ego that I just couldn't deal with at a point. Let's see. Kill the camera. You do you. We love watching you for being you. Thank you so very much. I don't recognize the name, so that makes it even more awesome, you leaving that comment. I appreciate that a ton. Otaku. Who needs a massive audience when you have a ragtag group of misfit gremlins like us? Exactly. All I care about in the stream, if I've got 20 viewers, I'm happy. Down the line, if the stream can get, a few hundred to 1,000 views, fuck yeah. Awesome. And if not, that's cool too, because people can watch this stuff whenever they want. Because I don't expect everyone to watch an hour and 40-minute video every day. But it's there if someone wants to enjoy it. And to me, it sounds like dude must have been trying to binge watch my content or act like they were trying to binge watch my content, pretend they were. Because if you were to catch your stuff live, you can deal with the same joke once a day from somebody or something, or some similar joke. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. It's obviously a dumbass, obviously a troll. But let's get analytical with it, because that's the comedy in it, is just going way overboard in analyzing something that's obviously not worth it. Nobody likes a stream chat that goes so fast nobody can read anything. Exactly. I mean, hell, if it ever gets that bad, I am putting slow mode. Krisu, you're often technically correct, the best kind of correct. Thank you. Thank you. That is why I hope my application to become a bureaucrat eventually passes the first stage of processing, so I can get the proper forms to fill out to be able to requisition the forms for Section 138C, where I will be able to file the online application to be verified for the ability to get identification, allowing me to request a pencil so I can fill out the forms. I need to watch some Futurama. I miss Futurama. Deviant with, exactly. It just makes it so no one is actually interacting with anyone. They're all just talking themselves in a script. Yep. Beep boop. I'm just a bot. From Rosina. Hey, Rosina. Bot in Rhode Island. Ohio, so I might not be real. The mystery continues. Is Otaku X a real human? I've seen them. They were on webcam for a thing, but that could have just been AI. That could have just been an android. Bought in South Carolina from Nozomi. Oh, Monique's husband's from one of the Carolinas. I forget which. Neat. And then there's Zoomy. Neat. Me and Sitter, I was like, Krisu's live. Run to our individual computers and enjoy the show. Or if one of us is available time, sleeping, working, whatever, it's Krisu streamed. When you XYZ, oh, I have to watch that. I love that. Oh, it's so nice having an audience, and people cannot get. That's why I do this. I want to make stuff that other people will want to come in, new people will want to watch and enjoy. But if I'm not doing stuff that you guys like, guys, gals, and everything in between, I was using the gender neutral guys like Otaku was earlier. But I want to clarify, people of all existences. If I'm not making content y'all like, then there's no point. It's like with the Rust thing. It's like, you don't really want to, you don't really need to go at this guy again. There's just nothing there. It's like, okay, we'll move on. I was having some fun, but if y'all don't like it, then screw it. Let him sulk in, his nothingness. I hate to be that guy, but I got over 1,000 subs. He has 100. Yamato. Usually find his streams when I finish watching some other video. Go back to YouTube homepage and see that they're at the top. Yeah. Pushing Up Roses is great. I can understand still being a fan. It's hilarious. I didn't start watching Push Up Roses until the Murder She Wrote stuff. See, that's the thing. It shifts to a new audience, which is absolutely fine. But it's a matter of the sudden change will alienate others, and that's what I've got going on. Is that all the people who subscribed to me years ago for the gaming stuff are like, "What is all this atheist shit?" Okay, I'm gone. Hey, Michael, you came in at the end of the stream. Wait, if you were into Channel Awesome stuff, what about Radio Dead Air? Listen to Nash at all? I am drawing a blank on that. I don't know. I mean, some stuff that's related to Channel Awesome was tangential, like the Pushing Up Roses stuff. I actually learned learned of her from the time that I was a fan of LGR before he became a complete retro bro. Because he used to genuinely care about old tech, and then it just became, let's go thrifting, wood grain, retro, retro, retro. And then I'm like, fuck Clint, what a prick. And anything he does a video on, he drives the cost up of, meaning all the good old tech is now overblown because of him. Slightly similar to the AVGN problem of the late 2000s, early 2010s, but that's pretty much subsided. The gaming market stabilized some. But yeah, like I like Guru Larry as well, and I learned of him tangentially, even though he was involved in Channel Awesome right up until Channel Awesome stopped being a multi-creator thing. So many people on Channel Awesome had never heard of before it imploded. It's weird. Yeah. Just because you know his skit doesn't mean you stop laughing at it. Exactly. Thank you, Jason. Wow, I love the fact that a lot of new names are popping up. Thank you all for saying, hey, it's nice to, because I see the numbers, like 23 right now, and I see, oh, my comments got, our chat's got so many regulars. It's like, feel free to chat. I don't bite. Gibson board over sheetrock. Yep. Can always interact because of work, but I enjoy tuning in. Thank you, Polyphonics. Yeah, I am totally. Oh yeah, gypsum board, not Gibson board. I don't even. I'm a guitarist, so I don't even phased. I'm not even phased by Gibson. It's like, oh, Gibson, yeah, gypsum. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I just love people just enjoying. That's all I want is for people to enjoy this stuff. Love YouTubers with smaller audiences. Feels more cozy. I love your free flow, off the cuff format. Thank you so very, very much. That's what I go for. And that's what's worse is that I'm so self conscious about all that. And doing all these videos has helped a ton with that, with me feeling confident in myself, even when I flub up. So just thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Thank all of you for watching as always and just being so awesome. Keep chatting. He has to keep streaming. See, you found the secret. I never stop. I just keep going. Look, at a point, we're going to start doing, more just open chat, hangout, what have yous. I just got to get in the groove. And then that depends on who wants to be on audio, be on video, do this, that, the other, and actually having something to talk about. That era does. What the fuck's wrong with you? Okay, I have to check that out. Fuck is wrong with you? Who picked out your outfits? There's a deep AVGN reference from middle era. Seen LGR in a while. Stopped getting recommended his videos if I'd watch because of videos of old tech. That's like with LGR. Watch the video where he unboxes a bunch of Osborne computer stuff, and then watch something recent, and it's night and day. You see a man who genuinely loved old tech, and then you see the new stuff, and it's just retro, bro. I laugh when there was whatever the most recent natural disaster stuff was in his area. I think it was some wildfires, and he's Prince Watercrest let me know he's like posting about downsizing stuff, and it's like, good, get it in the hands of people who will actually use it and care about it. Although that's probably not the case. It's just going to be other retro bros, but still. I mean, it actually pains me that my stuff is in storage and I haven't been able to mess with my vintage tech for many years now. It is painful to my core. But I just have to deal with that. And so the idea that these people who have the money, have the audience, have all this stuff, and we all have limited space, but don't appreciate it, that it's just a means to an end. It's just for videos. It's like seeing the gamer bros who have the walls full of game stuff and all the Nintendo trinkets because they're always Nintendo bros. It's like, dude, do you actually play that shit? Like, do you really? And yes, I know that includes James Rolfe. I didn't say he was innocent of it. But it's a whole story, since I'm a relatively big fan of his work through the years. But I'm not above, calling out the problems where they've been. But that's its own discussion. That's its own thing. There's a whole subreddit devoted to that. Um, but this stuff upsets me because I genuinely care about this stuff. And when I would do the gaming and tech stuff, it would get no traction. And that killed me to see other people who just happen to have a different charisma or just played the game and produced the exact same content as everyone else getting somewhere. And that's why my channel was dead for a while. And then I decided, inspired by AJ, I'm going to go on and start doing the atheist content. I'm just going to start reacting to stuff live and just have at it. And here we are. Oh, don't give me that crap restream. Hold on, we're connecting to your channels. Need a dick restream. Share the love while you're here. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Seriously. Subscribe twice because I saw I was unsubscribed once. That's crazy. Oh, y'all are great. OGR, love the 8-bit guy. I was big with him for a while, and then he kind of went all retro bro as well on me. So with 8-bit guy, y'all may remember many years ago where he got a hold of some damaged VIC 20s, and he was selling components from them, namely the MOS 6502 processor from them. I bought one of those. And what's funny is I noticed marks on the top of it matched the one that was on display for the ad he was for like the photo he was selling them from. So I actually end up having, and it's in my hand right now because I keep it on top of my computer, the display MOS 6502 from when he was selling them. I emailed him about it. He's like, yeah, that does look like it. I was like, cool. I forget exactly what threw me off 8-bit guy. I think he went retro bro enough that I just had to, cut from it. But, no hate necessarily. I think I still follow dude's Facebook page. Maybe. But yeah, like I know he started doing some of those, he started programming games on actual hardware, and that was pretty fucking awesome. And then I lost track. Does remind me, I got a beta player at Goodwill years ago. I had all the paperwork and the wired remote. Still don't have any beta tapes for it. See, I've got a few beta tapes, and I picked up a Betamax machine. I carried that son of a bitch around the thrift store, and it was like 40 fucking pounds. That's back when I was a weakling. I did the same thing with an IBM Selectric typewriter. I carried that heavy son of a bitch from the back of the store to the front, because I will do that kind of shit. Now I could probably carry a Selectric in each hand and balance one on my back and not even feel it. But But yeah, like if you look at my Twitter, not my Twitter, my Discord profile, it should say secretly a MOS 6502 processor. Don't tell anyone, because that's one of my absolute favorite processors. I mean, honestly, I like the entire classic gamut. 6502 is beautiful. Zilog Z80 is beautiful, especially because Sega Genesis. Master System used it, but it was also involved in the Genesis. Zilog Z80. No, Motorola 68K. That and the Z80. Love. I love that my Commodore 128 has a Z80 in it. It's only used for CPM and for initial boot, but it's like it's got a fucking Z80. It's got 3 processors. No, it's got 2 Shit. Did the C128 have 2 or 3? I think it has 2, because I think it uses the same 6502 based CPU for C64 and C128 modes, and it just addresses differently from the way the what would be the BIOS is, the program ROM. I'm not sure. My C128 has a whole story about it in its own right. I should tell that one day. Ooh, Otaku bringing up Laserdiscs. I've got a bunch of Laserdiscs. Got a player. Love Laserdisc. Actually, my preferred way to watch some films. Yeah, I love all this stuff. Old cassette tapes, VHS, audio cassette. Big into. I was rebuilding a massive CD collection, surprisingly, before all my stuff went to shit. life went to shit. DMX accidentally took some of those. But I love this old stuff, and don't get me started on my record collection. That I started back in 08, 09 range. It's ridiculous. And I've got autographed Michael Jackson stuff. That's how hardcore my record collection is. But yeah, I genuinely love this stuff, and it's a shame that my YouTube career never went anywhere in that environment, because I would have loved to have shown off more of that stuff. But maybe down the line I can do stuff on that. But once I actually have access to it again, it just it actually hurts to think about. Just there's a lot that's been going on. That's all I can say. Welcome to life, Hey man, I used to play CS:GO with a woman who added me specifically because when two guys were giving her shit, I pointed out how many more kills she had than they did. Nice. Was a Sega Genesis claiming that 32-bit blast processing when nope, it was just two 16-bit chips in it. Not quite. I mean, it's. I think you're getting a couple of things mixed up. They just referred to blast processing, which wasn't a thing, referring to the speed at which sprites and such were handled on the Genesis, because it was like 6 megahertz versus the 2 megahertz of the NES, or like the 4 megahertz of the SNES, or something to that effect. It's been a while. I haven't gone into these topics too deep, so my memory is just garbage on it now. But what I think you're thinking of with the two 16-bit togethers is actually the Jaguar, talking about being 64-bit, but it was actually a trio of 32-bit processors working in a particular way, which isn't wrong, but it's also not the same thing you think of, and certainly not the same as a 64-bit architecture of the N64, which incidentally just about all games only ran using 32-bit opcodes. So all your 64 games were 32-bit coded. They didn't take advantage of everything, which is fine, but Also, for the N64, I fucking hate when people talk about, oh, they boosted the memory. It's like, no, they sold the system with half memory because of manufacturing issues due to earthquakes and shit for the memory. Because RD-RAM was expensive to produce and very specific at that point in time. I always joke the expansion pack's the most expensive 4 mega memory you'll ever buy, which it isn't, but But yeah, when they added the expansion pack, that actually completed the amount of memory the system was originally supposed to have. It was always supposed to have 8 megs. So we got a gimped system with the N64, and yet it still had some killer software. So see, this is what happens. This is what you get me in, with this stuff. This is stuff I love. You get me talking about something I love, I can just go on all day. You get me talking about old phone tech, you get me talking about typewriters. I mean, let me tell you, 1930 Smith Corona, got one under my bed, beautiful. Bought that for myself as a birthday present. Love it. Love it. Seriously, if you're going to get a typewriter, Corona Standard, Smith Corona, those are the ones to go for. First typewriter was one of the 60s models. Big boat anchor, came in a Samsonite case. Biblical reference with Samson there. Yeah, those cases are fucking awesome. Thing's a beast. Love it. Clack, clack, clack. But yeah. But remember, people in my life have said I'm depressing. I'm a downer. I'm a bad influence, but I'm just not fun to be around. It's like, no, I just don't like the average trappings that everyone else does. Oh man, this is supposed to be Hovind, and now we're just hanging out. Apologize. Getting into a yawn fit. At the N64 expansion pack free. My friend got one, and the second one when he got DK64, so he gave me a spare. Yeah, that's fucking funny when that happens. And with DK64, it only needed it because of a programming bug. There was an error, and it would jump to past the 4 meg limit, and of course it would crash there because it tried to address memory that didn't exist. So they're like, oh shit, we have to give you the extra 4 megs. Here's something interesting that I wanted to try, but never got an opportunity to. I believe it's your oldest N64 boards have a empty slot for an RD-RAM module. Now, what I wonder is if you get, like, I think it started with 2 2 megabyte units, then they modified it to use just 1 4 meg and left the other spot empty, and then they switched down to having the 1 4 meg thing with no extra pad or area, and the expansion pack would take care of it regardless. Otherwise, it was just jumpered. What I wonder is, could you solder in a 4 meg RD-RAM module into that second spot on the boards that contain that empty slot, so the middle era boards, and get the full 8 meg? Would that work? Would the game say expansion pack detected? Would it just operate? I figure if it detects the 8 megs, full 8 megs, it says expansion pack detected, because that's an easy thing to code. And if Rosina's still in the chat, this is totally up her alley, given she was taught, she did some PowerPC disassembly earlier, like a couple of days ago. But yeah, I wonder if that would work. And I never got the opportunity while I worked at the game store to actually go through the process of doing that, because I wanted to get an N64 of my own, an expansion pack specifically to do that. It would have just been fucking awesome. But I don't know. I do believe it would work, but I won't know. I could look it up, but I'm just. First bought PS2 off eBay, bought specifically because it came with Kingdom Hearts 2, and ended up with 2 copies of it because Kingdom Hearts 2 was also in the PS2 system itself. Nice. Throw a surprise free game, then a letdown. It's a game you already have. Need to play Kingdom Hearts. Have them all on PS5, but barely touched any of them. Yeah. That's how I feel about several games. I hadn't bought games in forever. At this stage, since most of what I play is Guild Wars, I just save what money I've got to spare on gaming stuff on that. My game collection isn't vast, but it's big. It's a couple of shelves worth. But hey, we've been going for 2 hours now. At this stage, the Hovind video is long over. This whole thing could be separated into its own little video clip, which I probably will if I can remember to. I'm going to go on and hop off because I want to get in some Guild Wars before I try to get to sleep early. Because like I opened the stream with, I'm going to have a hell of a day tomorrow. I'm going to be left alone, but I've still got a lot of crap to do. So we'll just see where that takes everything. What are words anymore? Where that takes my day, takes my mood, any old thing. I'm going to check out your last few comments, and then I'm going to hop on out of here. So there be those who stop talking about whatever. Yes, the classic, uh-oh, a girl's in the room. We can't talk about the things we like, even though you're into that stuff too. It's weird. Metal Gear Solid collection. Nice. Chain of Memory sucked. That's what I've heard. Devil May Cry last year. Hell yeah. Love some DMC. Last month on sale. Well, 1 through 4, not 5 yet. 5 is regarded as epic by Nezumi Zumi Tomato. Ish epic. I'm gonna tell you, probably the all-around best game I've ever played. And again, this isn't necessarily a condoning or a claim that it's my favorite, but probably the best gaming experience I've ever had was Red Dead Redemption 2. I felt so much playing that and got so into it. Incredible. I cried. I laughed. I cried. I got pissed off. I felt accomplished when I finished it. So, yeah. And I hadn't played the first one. I still need to do that. So I'm coming at it chronologically. At this stage, I can't say for sure what my favorite game is. I mean, I know what my favorite is, but when you get to the broad thing, because my favorite is actually the NES RPG Crystalis, Zelda-esque action RPG. Had as a kid, my favorite game. There's a video on my channel of Nappin Retro Gaming, an apostrophe he bought me. He spent most of the money for me to get a copy of that complete in box. Let me pull that up. And we're not gonna watch it here. I'm gonna link it in the chat before I head on off. But it's cool. You get to hear me, get to see some of my old gaming stuff. This is way back. We're talking a decade ago. Yamato, Crystallis. There we go. Yeah, 10 years ago. Copy clean link as opposed to dirty link. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Chrono Trigger getting a remake. I don't know much about that. That's cool. I fucking love Chrono Trigger. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, if y'all seriously want some gaming videos, more of that stuff, I can totally do it. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Depends on my mood. Excuse me. But I've been talking enough. At this point, it's actually getting my heartburn up. Freaking love you guys. Just always stay awesome. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. Thank you for being a friend. Seriously, y'all are awesome. I'm going to hop off here and rest